Oh, actually, speaking of God, I'm not really a religious person. Actually, that's kind of a little disingenuous. I'm not religious. All right, I was raised Christian, read the Bible, all that stuff. I, kind of got to from one end to the other, and was like, okay, let me know when something changes. I'll read the extra stuff. They haven't called yet, so I guess I need to go back. But anyway, here's the point. Point is, and this is in relation to healthcare. This putz here is Representative Roger Marshall from Kansas, and I'll read you an article that The Hill put out here about this gentleman, or at least parts of the article. Right. Some people just don't want health care, according to Representative Roger Marshall, Republican, big shocker there, Kansas, who cited the Bible while arguing against former President Obama's Medicaid expansion. Just like Jesus said, the poor will always be with us. I'll cover that that line in a little more detail in a second. Marshall, a doctor and freshman lawmaker, told Stat News on Friday, "There is a group of people who don't want health care and aren't going to take care of themselves." Marshall argued that the Obamacare's expansion of Medicaid had not helped. Just like homeless people, I think just morally, spiritually, socially, some people just don't want health care, he said. Oh, it gets better. The Medicaid population, which is on a free credit card as a group, do probably the least preventative medicine and taking care of themselves and eating healthy and exercising. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying socially that where they are, socially that's where they are. So when a group of people that even with unlimited access to health care are only going to use the emergency room when their arm gets chopped off or when their pneumonia is so bad they get brought to the ER. So there's a group of people. I don't know. Okay, let's break this down here. First off, I just want to get one little quote here. The Medicaid population, which is on a free credit card as a group, do probably the least preventative medicine and taking care of themselves and eating healthy and exercising because they're fucking poor. You ever tried to eat healthy on the kind of budget you're on if you qualify for fucking Medicaid? A freaking, a fucking double cheeseburger from McDonald's is kind of pushing it budget-wise, alright? It's kind of hard to eat right and healthy, nutritious veggies and fresh meats and everything when you're on that kind of a budget. I know, okay? It's like, I've been on tight budgets before when it comes to groceries. I'm on one now. I'm not even trying to eat healthy. I'm just trying to cut down on the fucking carbs. And you know what? It's expensive. Alright? My standard price of a meal went from, to go from like a friggin' hamburger helper or a pizza for dinner, went from like $6 a meal to 10 to 15. Just making a switch from, I said, like a hamburger helper or spaghetti or something like that, just switching to, I don't know, like some cauliflower and pork chops. And it at very least doubled, if not tripled. Alright? Eating healthy is fucking expensive. And and to say someone who is supposed to be educated as that, like an actual physician, who does not understand that eating healthy actually costs money that these people don't have because they are poor, evidently, obviously poor enough to be on fucking Medicaid. You know, the insurance for poor people. How about this? You want them to eat healthy? Why don't you have some way of helping them pay for healthy food? And don't even start talking about food stamps. Had some experience with those in the past too. Same thing. They help a bit. They will help you not starve, but they're not going to pay for a good, healthy, nutritious diet. And also, too, moving on in a subject, that the first quote that I promised to go into. Like Jesus said, the poor will always be with us. Okay, so what I take this to mean is, I don't know, basically saying, oh, don't worry, like okay, the poor is just a thing. Even the Bible says it. Oh, we're always going to have poor people. We're always going to have poor people. Don't fuck the poor people. The Bible says we're going to have it. Jesus said we're going to have poor people. Hell with them. Well, see, here's the thing. I did some reading, and I'll include the link in the description because it's a fairly long article. But I actually found an article that revealed that this is actually not, this guy is not the first one to actually claim that to use that specific line in reference to basically saying fuck the poor. No, the first one was actually our Secretary of Energy, Rick Perry, who was the one who caused this article to be written, in which basically that line, Jesus did say that, but it was actually Jesus quoting, according to the Bible or this article here, Jesus was actually quoting when he said the poor will always be with us. Or where's that effect depending on the translation of the Bible that you're using? He was basically quoting the Torah, or he was quoting the Old Testament, I believe, Deuteronomy 15:11. Since there will never cease to be some in need on earth, I therefore command you, open your hand to the poor and needy neighbor in your land. And it's sort of like a little change up there. He goes, but anyway. So basically that passage that was quoted, where they like to take that line, basically that line comes from a verse, and that line where they like to pull it from, Jesus was quoting the Old Testament. And, I'll go ahead and read a part of it, like a bigger part of like the area that he was quoting from. There will always be poor people in the land. Therefore, I command you to be open-handed towards your fellow Israelites who are poor and needy in your land. So basically, the verse that this asshole's quoting in his attempt to say or to rationalize fucking over poor people as the Christian thing to do. Again, like, seriously. He's actually accidentally quoting a verse, which is in itself quoting a verse that says in its entirety that there will always be poor in your land. Therefore, God commands it that you open your hand toward, you help the poor and needy. That is a commandment of God, that you help the needy. That's what he's quoting when he's saying, the poor don't need, it's in the Bible, the poor don't need health care. They're just going to be the poor, no matter what we do. So, fuck them. Wow. Like, honestly, it's situations like this that kind of reinforce my belief that really there isn't a God. There isn't one. Because honestly, if there was, this guy would be a prime candidate to get a fucking lightning bolt up his ass. I mean, seriously. The fact this guy is going, I mean, honestly, it's like an argument for atheism right there. The fact this guy is going around without, fucking leprosy or something right now is proof alone. is actually twisting Jesus' words around from saying specifically that God commands you to take care of the poor, and twisting it around to basically say, fuck the poor, we're always going to have them around, just shoo them away. What a total fucking asshole. Okay. Anyway.